Hello and welcome to this trip report. Today I'm going to be taking the British Airways A319 from Heathrow Terminal 5 through to Paris Charles de Gaulle. We took the tube to Heathrow today from Acton Town through to Terminal 5, and that takes around 25 minutes. If you do have some spare time at Terminal 5 before your flight, there's some great views of runway 9 left for the landing aircraft in the Cafe Nero just before you go through security. I'm travelling in Euro Traveller class today, which means I have no lounge access, but there are some reclining lounge seats just behind the duty-free shops in Terminal 5, which I would highly recommend if you want to relax for a little bit before your flight. The flight this morning is departing from one of the C gates at Terminal 5, which means we have to go down a very long escalator, catch the shuttle train over to the C gates. Now, I booked this trip about a month before travel and is a day return fare to Paris from London. Paid £78 for this fare, which means I was in boarding group 5, which meant I was one of the last people to board the plane. The flight today was pretty full and I was seated in seat 15A. Pushback was bang on time and we taxied out to runway 27 right. The economy seat in British Airways is fairly comfortable, however I do find it quite cramped, particularly with the seat pocket down at the bottom. BA no longer offer any complimentary meal service on economy short haul flights in Europe, and I have to say this does lead me to question the real difference between flying BA around Europe or flying a low cost carrier like Ryanair. Deboarding the aircraft was fairly quick and efficient, and we deplaned onto an air bridge. This brought us into Terminal 2 at Charles de Gaulle. The queue for immigration was non-existent, so within no time I was landside and ready to head into Paris. It was quite a walk to the metro station in Terminal 2, however the signs were really clear and before long I was in the station. I purchased a return ticket into Paris today from one of the automated ticketing machines. It cost just over €20. The metro is really clear on where you're going to be stopping today. Anything that is illuminated means the train will stop there. Anything that isn't illuminated means the train will go straight past. The metro brought me out just across the river from the Notre Dame, which is the first place that I'm going to visit today. Next up was the Louvre, and on the way there we passed through a lovely flower market which also had some rather loud birds. Now the Eiffel Tower is something that I've always wanted to visit and always wanted to go right to the top. This is the view from the second floor, which is the first floor that the lift throws you out at. And this is the view from the very top. Before long it was time to head back to Charles de Gaulle as the flight was leaving at 9:15. We took the metro back there and arrived in plenty of time. Once we had cleared immigration, a quick check on flight radar showed that the inbound aircraft was yet to leave London, meaning we had a delay of around about an hour. I have to say the ground crew working for BA here in Paris were not all that helpful or informative of the situation. Despite the aircraft being late, they made no effort whatsoever to speed the boarding process up. I was seated in a middle seat on the way back, so there's no footage of the flight unfortunately. All in all, I really don't think BA offered anything different on this service compared to a regular low-cost airline. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, but that's it for this one and thank you for watching.